that they walk away with a win against the Charlotte Hornets. I thought it was going to be a blowout, not going to lie. By the time the first quarter was done, LaMelo Ball, how many minutes did LaMelo Ball end up playing in this game? 112-107 the final score. LaMelo ended up playing 9 minutes. You thought their best player by far, a potential all-star, playing only 9 minutes, and you're playing the Charlotte Hornets. You thought this was going to be an ass-kicking, and the Lakers made it interesting the entire way. So just your initial thoughts of how you feel after a win like this. Let me know. I'll read some of the comments here, and I'll give you guys my thoughts here real quick. So, obviously – the thing to really talk about in tonight's game is Anthony Davis, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking on AD. I was a little bit late starting the post-game show, so J.J. Redick already talked, but I'm sure they're going to cut right to Anthony Davis or cut to LeBron. Since they got 2 games in 2 nights, they're going to be flying to Philly tonight, so they'll be out of here. So as soon as Anthony Davis talks, we'll get into it. But, man, I think – let me give you my overall emotions. When the first quarter ends and you're up 20, it's 39-19. You really, really are starting to tell you, or you're really starting to ask yourself, you're saying to yourself, all right, what a kind of a phenomenal opportunity here for the Lakers, because they do have a second of a back-to-back. It's not like they were up 39-19 at home and, their situation or their predicament was, all right, whether they blow this team out, or they don't blow this team out. Maybe it doesn't matter, whatever the case is. But I think in the current situation for the Lakers, it's the fact that you got 2 coming in 2 nights. So I think a lot of people were saying to themselves, hey, if you're up 39-19, the way they came out, the way they were just dominating the beginning of the game, the first 12 minutes of the game, coming out and getting defensive stops. I'm listening to the game with Billy Mack and Stu Lance, and it's the stops that they're getting, and the defense is creating offense. And Anthony Davis literally had, I heard J.J. Redick say during the game, or during the postgame, he said that he had the equivalent of 2 games tonight. The first quarter was 1 game in itself, where he had 21 points and 11 rebounds. He was 9 of 12 from the field. And then the rest of the game, he had 21 points and 12 rebounds. So I see what he's saying there about, having basically 2 separate games, but you build up that kind of a lead. Charlotte's not a good team. LaMelo only plays 9 minutes. And it was kind of a fight for the Lakers the rest of the way. I hate seeing that. Listen, I will take the mantra of a win is a win. Fine. All day long. Get a W. Listening to some of the folks at Spectrum Sportsnet after the game, it's like, hey, it's an 82-game grind. Sometimes you're going to have games like this. But I hate for them to kind of kill some of the momentum. And listen, it doesn't mean anything in the standings. In the standings, they'll gain ground on some teams, or at least hold serve. Or if you look at, they've won 5 of 6 coming into this game. Now they've won 6 of 7. But they take some wind out of the sails. And then you got this game coming up tomorrow. The last thing, if they end up losing tomorrow's game, I think we will look at this game and say, well, they had to play a lot of these guys. Let me point out what some of the minutes were for some of the players. AD basically, by the way, couldn't even leave the game, because anytime he left the game, Lakers were trash. They were not playing well at all. Maybe that's a little bit too harsh of a way to describe it, but they really were not playing well. So you had 37 minutes from Anthony Davis tonight, 36 from LeBron. Reeves had to give you 38. Max Christie had to give you 39. And then, a bunch of bench players contributed as well. Dorian Finney-Smith gave you 27 minutes. He started in place of Rui Hachimura. Of course, Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent, both of those players out of the game. So, obviously just kind of something to keep in mind. I don't know what their status is for tomorrow, but Rui's still dealing with that calf. Gabe Vincent, I think he had banged the knee. I heard Mike Trudell say in that last game that the Lakers played on Saturday against the Golden State Warriors, so that's why he didn't go tonight as well. So, you're missing obviously some depth and some pieces, but I don't really have any excuses for the Lakers. They did win, so give them the W, all good from that perspective, but you definitely took some of that momentum that you were feeling at the end of the first quarter. It's like Lakers are going to blow these guys out by 30. And then instead, just kind of too many mental mistakes, too much ball watching, They're trying to force feed Anthony Davis, which is fine. But if they couldn't get AD the ball because Charlotte did, adjusted and we're throwing a couple guys on him and we're putting a lot of attention on him, a lot of guys standing around, a lot of guys just it seemed like it felt like there was just no flow to the game unless it was Anthony Davis. All right, let me look at a couple of the comments here, and then like I said, like I mentioned from the beginning, as soon as we find out, or as soon as AD talks or any of these players talk, we'll go right to it. What are we now? 8 games over 500. Yes, Lakers are 8 games over 500. Let me look at some NBA scores because I'm not actually sure who's playing tonight. Really good game between the Rockets and the Celtics. Kings are up 10 on Brooklyn. Just looking at games that could affect the Lakers. Shockingly here, the Bulls got a nice 10-point cushion on the Denver Nuggets, so Lakers could get a little bit closer there. Mavs will end up winning tonight. Clippers and the Suns, one of those teams will lose a little bit of ground, and Grizzlies already lost tonight. So that gives you just kind of an idea of some of the teams out there. But yes, 8 games over 500, 26 and 18 overall. And let's keep looking at a few more of these comments. Lakers can beat the best teams and the worst teams, but can't beat the Clippers. In a weird way, there might be some truth to that. I don't like to admit that, but there might be some truth. No, listen, Lakers can beat a lot of the bad teams, but that record's really got to improve against the good teams. Let's see. They beat Boston. I think teams over 500 now, they're 8-14. I think that's the stat. Teams over 500, the Lakers are now 8-14. I think that's the exact stat for the Lakers. All right, let me look at a couple more here. Vando was a menace. Great to see him. I'll continue to say that. I know I mentioned it. I did a video exclusively on Jared Vanderbilt yesterday. There's ways this guy's – he got actually a key steal in the game. Let me see something here real quick. I want to see what some of his stats were. Stats are never going to tell his story. I do think there are certain players in the league where if you're just paying attention to stats, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. But Vando, 12 minutes in his first game, 13 minutes in this game, couple of steals, 4 points, couple of rebounds. So he's got now 5 steals in 25 minutes of play. So you take some tea this morning, or there's some tea this evening. Good tea as well. I'm a tea guy. Coffee in the morning, and I go tea the rest of the way. Vando's played 25 minutes now so far. In those 25 minutes he's played, he's had 5 steals. So agree with you guys on the Vando piece. All right, I'm getting ready here to get started with some Anthony Davis stuff. And AD has not started talking yet. So as soon as we hear to AD, we're going to go right to him. But let me just get to a couple of these here. I need a Sliwa beanie. If I'm going to start making bootleg Slee merch myself, I got you, brother. It's okay. Just it will come. It will come. It will come. It should have came sooner, but it will come. All right, let me read this one off, and then I want to start talking a little bit about Anthony Davis. Classic Lakers game. Oh, by the way, thank you very much for the super. I appreciate that. Barely beating a tanking team without their superstar. Should have been a blowout W, and the rest of the guys for tomorrow. Also, DK Dalton Connect. Yikes. Dalton Connect tonight, 1 for 3, -9 plus 2 points. Yeah, he's really hasn't done anything since his stretch that he had. Yeah, I think Laker fans who are thinking big picture, right? A comment like this is the right comment to have. You shouldn't be allowing teams to hang around like this. You got to hurry up and take care of business. You got a second of a back-to-back tomorrow. Can you just stop playing with your food and end the game? And the answer is no. I don't think they can. I don't know if they have that on a night in, night out basis. So 2 things can be right. We can say that a win is a win, but we can also say that was ugly. That was not what the Lakers should have been. That's not the way that game should have ended. Okay, I spent too long here. Thank you very much for the super. I appreciate you, brother. Spent too much time without talking about Anthony Davis. AD tonight had 42 and 23. He was really the only player. Braun, 22, 8, and 7, but just 1 of 8 from the 3-point line. Reeves gave you 17, but he took 14 shots to get there. So nobody was really efficient other than, Anthony Davis. Even Max Christie at 3 threes, 3 of 6, but 3 of 8 overall. The game was basically give AD the ball and hope and pray to God that Anthony Davis gets enough looks and touches and that the Lakers can close out this game. He's a monster. We know that. No real surprise. That's why I've been making such a case here. If you guys have heard some of my videos, it's kind of funny. Some people take when I say that interview that came out with Shams on Thursday about AD saying, I'd like to play with another big. I think we need to go out and get another big. And I've come out with a couple of videos saying he's the most important player on this roster. If that's what Anthony Davis wants, give it to him. I don't care. Anthony Davis is your present and your future. And some people are taking that as disrespect to LeBron in some way. I've been reading some of the comments. There is no disrespect to LeBron. He's 40. AD is the most important player on the Los Angeles Lakers for this franchise. Everything runs through Anthony Davis. So I think the people taking it disrespectfully, I don't know what they're talking about. Speaking of LeBron, let's take a quick listen to LBJ.
For the fifth 40-20 game of his career, what did you see from him tonight?
Just locked in, dominant from start to finish. Obviously, the first quarter, double-double in the first quarter. He carried us tonight on our first game on the East Coast. And listen, it was everything. He had it all going.
About halfway through the fourth quarter, Vando jumped the passing lane, got a steal, got a dunk, and so you and AD both went up to him. You've been missing that kind of thing from him. What have you made from his 2 games, and how much is that going to help you guys?
Obviously, it's going to be a process of him getting back, getting his legs back, getting his wind back. But, just the things that he do for our ball club. We missed it, obviously, the extra possessions he get, his defensive, obviously, intensity, and then being able to jump past him. He has a knack for that. So that was a big-time steal right there. Made them call a timeout.
You guys dominated early. Things kind of went in another direction. And starting with the second quarter, just what did you see out there from Charlotte, from you guys that led to that?
I mean, listen, we didn't come here to try to blow nobody out. We came here to win the game. And we played hard, from start to finish. They made a lot of threes.
But you were blowing them out.
We did what we had to do to close out the game. So, I feel like we got better than that.
LeBron, they made that run in the third quarter to close the gap.
I don't know about that.
When JJ called the timeout, we'll send that timeout to get the momentum going back on your direction.
No, just calm down. Let's execute offensively. Let's buckle down a little bit more defensively and finish the quarter out.
When shot making isn't there for you guys, 3-point shot tonight really wasn't there for anybody. What did you like best about the other ways you guys found to score?
We're still aggressive. We're still aggressive with our shooting, and obviously the ball cover came from me and AR not being able to connect from the outside. But we had some timely makes. We had some timely shots. We continued to defend, even though they did a good job of attacking us at some points. But when you get those timely stops and those timely scores, it definitely helps.
LeBron,
from a final one standpoint, a lot of times a 23-point lead goes all the way down to the rope is let go at that point. How did you guys manage to hang in there?
Because we've been composed in a lot of games this year. We've had leads, we've been down, we've been able to come back. But we've stayed even kill. Throughout a lot of the games that we've been in, close games. So tonight was another one of those instances.
All right, let's stop it right there. Let's keep going. All right, a couple things. Here I am. LeBron's playing the league for 22 years, and I'm like, I don't agree with LeBron. No, but I let me give a couple thoughts here on LBJ here real quick. I think, his motto of we didn't come here to blow him out. We came here to get a win. That part I don't disagree with. I think he's right about that. And I think there's a little bit probably of however you got the win at the end of the day, did you get the W or did you not? But I don't know if I agree with him of we got better tonight. I don't know if I'm taking this game against Charlotte without LaMelo Ball, without forgetting their youngster, Brandon Williams, I think it is. I don't know why I'm forgetting his last name here. I think I'm wrong. What was he at Alabama? But I think I don't know if you're going to look at this game and say, hey, things turned around because the Lakers beat the Hornets when they were up 20 plus early. Brandon Miller, that's who it is. That they were up 20 early and then, just barely hung on to a win. I don't think they're going to look at this game and say, you know what our model is? You know what our blueprint should be? Our blueprint should be that between LeBron, 5 turnovers for him, Anthony Davis had 4. I give AD a free pass and everything tonight because of how good he was. I don't think that's the blueprint. I think, LeBron taking too many threes, 1 for 8 from the 3-point line. Austin Reeves taking too many threes, 2 of 8 from the 3-point line. 3 of 16 from those two teams. I don't know how much I'm taking from, obviously I don't know how much I'm walking away from this game, but I think it's part of Bron's job to walk away with positive things to talk about, positive things amongst his teammates to say, wasn't perfect, wasn't great. Let's improve on it. We got a game coming up in less than 12 hours against the Philadelphia 76ers. So I get what he's trying to say. I just don't agree that they got better tonight. Or listen, maybe because the mistakes they made, they learned from, and technically by virtue of making mistakes, they got better. So if you want to make that argument. Let me go back to the point that I was making here. That there are some people out there that are saying that I'm being disrespectful or I'm not appreciating what LeBron is doing, at age 40 or this or that, because I keep saying the most important player within that Lakers franchise. I think Anthony Davis is more important than Rob Pelinka, JJ Redick, than LeBron James, than any of these guys. The only people he's not more important are the owners, because that's the owners. They own the team. But I say that because tonight's a good example of it. 42 and 23. This is what Anthony Davis can do. And, oh, by the way, AD is here for hopefully the next, not just the present, but for the future as well. It's not a knock on LeBron. LeBron has been the most important player on his team probably up until this year. Or you can make the argument, maybe you look at last year with Anthony Davis, or the year they went to the Western Conference Finals. They finally became equals, if you want to call it. And I'm not even I'm not trying to put one against the other. But my point is that when Anthony Davis says, I want to go play with a big, that to me was just so magnified of making sure that the ownership and front office took care of what Anthony Davis wanted and his needs. So that's what I mean by that. And it's not taking away anything from LeBron. LeBron is LeBron. He's doing something no player's ever done before. He's going to go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. We know that. Everybody knows that and understands it. And he's still such a key factor on a night-in, night-out basis for the Lakers. So that was my point that I was making over these last couple of days. And to kind of finish something off on Anthony Davis, and then I got some comments that I want to look at as well. But to finish my point on Anthony Davis, it's nights like tonight that just remind you this franchise is going really where AD goes. Now, that's until if LeBron retires and they go out and get another star, whatever the case is. But night in and night out, Anthony Davis basically has to be great. And then you're starting to look at that. I was listening to Mike Bresnahan had a point during their broadcast, and he said, there's so many nights that we talk about, here's what LeBron's doing at age 40. Look at Austin Reeves with a triple-double, or he contributed, he had 10 dimes, 12 dimes, whatever it is. Hey, look at the development of Max Christie. Vando is back. We talk about all these other things, and then we just don't talk about Anthony Davis because it's expected. He doesn't have a choice. This is what he's supposed to do every night. So it's kind of a different perspective of looking at it. All right, I want to look at some of these comments here real quick. See a couple here, and then if we get another, once AD talks, then I'll shut the hell up. Zero chance of Rui getting back into the starting lineup. All right, Dorian Finney-Smith is in there. Dorian Finney-Smith, how do I explain it? I think people, I don't think he's just a straight stat line guy. He's not, but I want to see more from his stats. But I think he can impact games, and I think he will impact games. I think when Rui comes back, they're going to put him in the starting lineup because the Lakers have kind of had this mantra of you don't lose your starting spot because of an injury. Now, if he comes back and he's not doing what he needs to be doing, then maybe that's a different story. But Dorian Finney-Smith tonight, 6 points, 5 rebounds, plus 13 in the plus-minus, only took 4 shots, very efficient, 3 of 4 from the field. I think he had the second or maybe third highest plus-minus. Him and Max Christie, second and third highest plus-minus. Anthony Davis had the highest. I do like that somebody's pointing out, they're kind of going out of their way to say, hey, Dorian Finney-Smith is producing, because I don't know if many Laker fans have really done that so far this year. I think most Laker fans have either said they've been underwhelmed by him or they want to see more. A team is still undisciplined. Man, they had that, what'd they give up? A layup and then a turnover and then a missed 3 by Charlotte. They get the offensive rebound, then another 5 points in like a matter of 5 seconds. It's a weird team sometimes, but however you want to look at it, I think you could kind of convince yourself either way of what this team looked like. All right, now it's time for me to shut the hell up because when Anthony Davis speaks,
the NBA Cup final officially. What was going on tonight where you were able to kind of find that level of production at the rim and overall?
Shot was just feeling good. Teammates did a good job setting me up, especially Austin. In the pocket, the jumper. Getting to the line. So, all facets of the game was working. Missed 2 threes, but just the entire team, not just me. I think the way we've been playing, moving the basketball and, playing for each other, not caring who scored, as long as we score. Things just been able to open up for me. So
yeah, I know Rui's been out these last 2, but with Vanderbilt into the action, Dorian getting a little more comfortable. Are you feeling some of that kind of the athleticism, the length, and some of that just additional help? It's also with Jackson playing more in those 2 big lineups.
Yeah, our defense, is a lot different. When Vando's in the lineup, and you get Doe, who's still on a minute restriction, but finding his way. Jackson, when we go to the 2 big lineups. So, it allows us to, do a lot of things, schematically, defensively to disrupt teams. And then when Vando's, his ball pressure, like we've seen today, passing lanes, the way he affects the game defensively, is something that we've missed.
You guys didn't shoot the ball really well from the perimeter tonight, but you guys were pretty aggressive to the rim. Bunch of dunks. Dorian had a big one late. What did you like about the attack mentality?
Yeah, when the shot's not falling, I think we got some good looks. They just didn't fall, but when the shot's not falling, you got to attack the basket. And that's what we're doing. We're getting offensive rebounds, guys for dropping and kicking, then re-dropping again to get into the basket. So, we're not going to just continue to shoot shots even though we're missing them. Our mindset changed where we just attack the basket, and that kind of just changed the game for us.
What'd you think of Dorian's dunk?
It's phenomenal. That's going on the gram tonight for sure. Yeah.
Mark Williams had a good run of games. What did you see tonight from him that made you want to attack him? What was he doing that made you feel comfortable attacking him tonight?
It wasn't just him. It was just me playing basketball. He's a good young player.
Final one.
He's going, can't remember the stats, but, like 21 and 12 or 11, something like that over the last 5 games or something like that. He's been playing extremely well. Offensive rebounding, block shots, everything. So it wasn't a one-on-one thing or nothing like that. I'm just trying to do what I can do to help the team win. That was it.
All right, we'll stop right there. I love when players get asked about other players, especially guys that are not going to get much love or shine. Charlotte's not a market, nor is it a team that a lot of people are paying attention to. But you got a player of AD's caliber giving love to that player. I like that. That I'm sure does a lot, gives that player an extreme amount of confidence and gives other people something to talk about. So, all right. So Anthony Davis, obviously a brilliant night tonight. I kind of flagged a lot of these comments here that I'm going to get into real quick. And we'll keep the show going here. So, what does it say here? There was a stat for Anthony Davis. His last 4 games have been ridiculous. Whatever that was, he's been dominating. Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments here. Just get a win tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow will be interesting because if the Lakers win the game, then there's really nothing left to talk about tonight's game. There isn't. That means they started their road trip. They'll have beaten the Golden State Warriors. They'll have beaten the Charlotte Hornets and the Philadelphia 76ers. And then they're 1 win away from the Wizards from, at worst, going 4-2 on the road trip. And you obviously are hoping for more if that's the momentum that they got going on. If they beat Philly tomorrow, we will not talk about this game tonight. If they lose to Philly tomorrow, this game's going to get brought up tomorrow. So around this time, maybe a little bit later, I'll be doing the post-game show because the game is going to be a half hour later than it was today. 4 o'clock tip-off today, 4:30 tomorrow. But that's – I think this comment, the just get a win tomorrow, that comment is going to completely how we kind of view this game. So much of it is going to be based on what the results are tomorrow. I was looking at the injuries, okay? Here's who they got out tomorrow. Caleb Martin, not playing tomorrow. Andre Drummond, not playing tomorrow. Paul George, not playing tomorrow. Joel Embiid, not playing tomorrow. KJ Martin is also out with a foot injury. They got like 5-6 guys that are all out tomorrow for Philly. So if you beat Philly tomorrow, and I actually got to be honest with you, I don't really care how they do it as long as they just get the W. You beat the Philadelphia 76ers tomorrow. You're now 9 games over 500. You've won 7 of your last 8 games. You've won 3 games in a row on the road trip. I don't care what the competition is. You lose tomorrow, and it was a close game, and you look like you had tired legs. We're all going to be looking, well, why'd you have to go 4 quarters against Charlotte? So I think that comment's going to hold a lot of weight tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Rui is the odd man out if Vando keeps playing like this. Well, I would say this. I would say that Lakers are going to make a move in the next week and a half. I don't have that based on a source. I have that based on faith. I got that based on I don't think Rob Pelinka is going to another trade deadline without making a move, especially that you've had LeBron James over the last week talking about the construction of the team. You got Anthony Davis going on with Shams and saying, yeah, go ahead and get me this or get me that. You got Rob Pelinka going on his own talking about, obviously that the Lakers have all these first rounders. Okay, well, then use them and go find a move that makes sense for this team. Rui might not just be the odd man out from a starter's perspective or a rotation perspective. He could very well be the odd man out on what the team decides to do in the future, in this very, very near future. They're a week and a half from the NBA trade deadline coming. So that kind of tells you a little bit something right there. I don't really care, to be honest with you. I think whether Rui starts or he doesn't start, I'm not going to be losing sleep over. I just care about what player is playing well and is most effective. That's the guy that should get the minutes. But it does change with Vando now around. It just changed now with Dorian Finney-Smith. Lakers traded for DFS. It does kind of change some things up here, gives the Lakers a lot more options from that position. Slee, what's the best way to contact you, X or email? I've thrown my email out there before. I've had plenty of chats and conversations, at least through email with people. So if you ever want to hit me with an email, allenslewa@gmail.com. Very simple, allenslewa@gmail.com. I like the Finney-Smith and Vando combo. Yeah, I want Dorian to be a little bit more offensive-minded, not be ultra-aggressive, not take shots where you're saying, why is he taking shots? And I got a feeling of what I think Dorian Finney-Smith is doing. I think Dorian Finney-Smith is just kind of – he's reading the room, sometimes people might get a new job and they end up at their new job and they're not the one walking around running their mouth and telling everybody how great they are and the loudest person in the room. That's not Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Dorian Finney-Smith is probably the one that, nice to meet you, I'm Dorian Finney-Smith, shakes a couple of hands, kind of has this respect for amongst his peers and the coaching staff. And then as he continues with his job, he lets his play do his talking, not his mouth. And I think that's what you're going to get from DFS. That's at least what I feel, what I think. So that combination that people like about just having those two players available, I think those are good playoff type players that you need. All right, let's see what else we got here. Some people are going to feel another way. And guys, listen, I'm going to emphasize this for you, whether you're on me with the Sleewa show or you're on when I'm doing this postgame show. Not everybody's got to agree with each other. You could have completely different opinions. That's okay. It actually makes for better conversations and better dialogues and frankly, better shows. Brian Jackson, here's a good example. We barely win a game when AD goes for 40 and 24, not impressed. I don't blame you. And LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller didn't play. So you have every right to feel that way, that if you're walking away tonight saying to yourself, let me get this right. End of the first quarter, Lakers up 20. Anthony Davis goes for 40+ and 20+. Brandon Miller's out. LaMelo Ball's out. Lakers beat Charlotte by what? Came down to the end. You had to play these guys 36 to 38 minutes. Basically, almost your entire starting lineup had to play that much. You got every right to think that way. That's okay. Let me get a couple more here. Slee, LeBron himself said multiple times early in the season when JJ was announced, he was the coach that the Lakers that the Lakers is AD's team, and JJ said that too. You know what's funny? When I was putting out those videos, and I'll continue to do it, my message is not to tell LeBron this is AD's team. My message is not to remind JJ Redick this is AD's team. My message is to remind Rob Pelinka in the front office and ownership, guys, I know LeBron makes a lot of money. I know he makes a company. I know he's box office. Your stock should be in Anthony Davis moving forward. If Anthony Davis says something, I just want to make sure Pelinka, the front office, and ownership says, well, we got to make sure that we're keeping this guy happy. LeBron's smart enough to know he needs AD, as is JJ Redick and everybody else. Okay, a couple more in here, and then we'll keep going. I could be late on this. We don't hear him often, but let's just take a quick listen. I don't know how much is left in the interview. Here's Dorian Finney-Smith.
We're going to enjoy this game tonight, but we're going to try to get this win tomorrow.
When's the last time you've had a dunk like that?
I catch him every now and then. A little sneaky. I call it sneaky bounce because a lot of people don't think I'm gonna get up, but I catch you slipping.
All right, we caught the end of it.
President, take a look.
We caught the end of it. Just the end of it right there. So those who are liking DFS, what he's doing so far, those that are, obviously still kind of figuring out how's this guy going to fit in or whatever the case is, we caught just the tail end of Dorian Finney-Smith there. Here's another one from Ja Green. Always something with some of you fans. They won the game. 1 minute, you love everyone on the team. One defeat later, you want to trade everyone. Yeah, but Ja Green, it's a great name, by the way. That kind of sports, right? Everything feels like it's going unbelievable 1 second and then the next second. Now, I agree with you. Listen, if there is an overreaction, hell, I've been doing post-game shows, on YouTube for, 7 years now, something like that. I did the official Lakers post-game show for a number of years, obviously on radio for 710 ESPN. Lakers talk, so I'm getting a lot of fan reaction. And if there's one fan base that is very passionate about their team, it's the Lakers, and they expect something that's not realistic. Dr. Jerry Buss built something that's not realistic to go on forever. Dr. Jerry Buss was the greatest owner to ever own any professional team, in my opinion. Basically, he had his team, the Lakers, go to 50% of the NBA Finals over a span of like 30, 34 years, 32 years, whatever, however amount of years that it was. But kind of comes with the territory, kind of comes with the territory. Is there overreaction? Absolutely. But I don't think that's going to change. And that's not just the Lakers. You could look at every team out there and think of teams that you root for. There's certain teams that they have this expectation, and fans are going to, they're going to give their opinion. Let's get another one in here. Part 1 of 3 of the Kobe Making of a Legend on CNN was fire. All right, I got to watch it. I have not seen it yet. We all know yesterday was the 5-year anniversary of, obviously the tragic helicopter crash. So I got to get in that. So you said 1 is already down. There is 2 more to go. All right, then I'm going to have to jump on that one here. All right, let me get AR here real quick. AR, always very, very nice, and I'm very appreciative of his supers. Thank you, brother. Slee, it's been a long time since I get you live. Thanks for the show, bro. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Appreciate the live there, or I appreciate the super. You got my next 3 coffees. My coffees usually come out to about $3 right there, maybe a little bit more than 3. So you got my next 3 coffees. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. All right, let's get a couple more comments here, and then I want to start looking at tomorrow's game. I want to start looking at a couple other things that Laker centric, and then we're gonna call it a night, and then I'm back on tomorrow at 8 a.m. By the way, I'll promote this here real quick. There's a guy who writes for the Philadelphia Inquirer. His name's Keith Pompey. Really, really good. As dialed in as it gets. I'm going to have him come on the show with me tomorrow at 8:30. He's going to join me on the show for a couple of reasons. I haven't really brought somebody from an opposing team yet. I used to do that on radio all the time. I'm going to be kind of changing that up a little bit. I'm going to probably try to find some YouTubers out there that are covering teams so that there's some collaboration. But Keith Pompey is as good as it gets. I find Philly very interesting. Like, what the hell is going to happen to the Philadelphia 76ers? If you go look in the standings right now, they're one of the teams that are just kind of, well, what are they going to do? They're 17-27 overall. I just got a lot of questions for him. Is there some regret of signing Paul George? Will Joel Embiid ever decide, you know what, I don't want to be with this franchise anymore? There's just a lot of questions around Philly. So we'll talk about tomorrow's game, but then I got a couple Philly questions for him, and he's also really dialed in around the NBA so we can get his opinion on Jimmy Butler and some of these other situations going on around the league. But look at Philly right now, 17-27. I think they just think we'll just get into the play and they'll figure it out. I think that's their thought process right there. I don't know how much longer, PG's out for, how much longer Joel Embiid. I think he's now out 12 games in a row. But we'll have to see, what eventually happens on that front. All right, let's see what else we got here. Looks like they're going to blow up that Philly roster. I try to trade Embiid for sure. Man. A lot of money being spent there that's not going anywhere. It's definitely not going in the right places. All right, let me get one more thing here, and then we'll keep this thing going. Yeah, this is an interesting one right here. Hey, Slee, thoughts on Nurkic, the Suns' disgruntled center? Did that guy just fall off the map? I remember Lakers have played the Suns a couple times, and I'm like, what happened to Nurkic? That guy does not look good at all. They're not even using him in Phoenix. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know what his contract looks like. I don't know if I'm assuming Phoenix is probably testing the market out. Would Phoenix have an issue making a trade with the Lakers? I don't know. Feels like some teams have issues making trades with the Lakers. I think there's other players that are probably more in the mix. But I haven't really heard Nurkic's name come up at all. I haven't heard his name come up at all, unless you guys have seen something. Getting a lot of this lately. A lot of people want to see Kelly Oubre. Kind of seeing that the last couple of days. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see here. I thought you were bringing him for the Eagles games, or for the Eagles game. I'll get a little bit of I'll get a Super Bowl question in there. I'll definitely get a Super Bowl question in. Nick Richards would be nice. All right. Okay. A couple final things here, and then we're going to call it a night. So looking real quick, I did mention this. Lakers standings wise, 26-18. I don't know, and I'm going to try to see if I could pull this up while we're still doing the live show. Did Denver end up losing the game tonight? Let's see real quick here. Denver ended up losing. They did. So Lakers get a little bit closer to Denver. They're now, I think, a game back from the number 4 spot. If I'm going to be completely honest, and I know the Lakers have been inconsistent. I know they haven't been great against good teams out there. Houston did beat the Boston Celtics, so Houston holds ground. I know their record against teams above 500. Certainly, they got to be so much better than that. But they're a game from 4th place, so you can't really be too mad at that. We haven't heard Reeves talk in a while. Let's hear what Austin Reeves got to say about the W.
How great he is.
You guys led by as many as 23. They cut it down to 2 or 3 late. JJ mentioned that tonight wasn't so much an effort ordeal, just mental errors, brain fog. How encouraged were you that the effort was still there, despite, sometimes in those situations, it's hard to, once you kind of let go of the rope, it just completely gets let go of?
Yeah, I don't feel like we ever let go of the rope, regardless of, what the, score showed throughout the process of the game. I felt like we continued to play hard. Like you said, we made some mental mistakes. We didn't shoot the ball well from three. We got a lot of good looks. JJ asked me after the game if I could make an open three, and Brian was like, I couldn't today either. So, yes, it's like Doe said, while I was sitting in here, it's always good to get a win in this league, regardless of, what it looks like. You can always be better. And I'm sure we'll watch film tomorrow morning and correct those things and try to get a win tomorrow night.
All right, let's stop it right there. Perfect transition to tomorrow's game, and then we're going to get out of here. So, Lakers got Philly coming up tomorrow. Should be hopefully it's not a good game. Hopefully it's not a good matchup. Hopefully it's a blowout for the Lakers, but that's who they got coming up. Philly tomorrow. They start the road trip out 2-0. Kind of a weird win against Charlotte tonight, up 20 by the time the first quarter is over. Anthony Davis dominating, but they still had to play all the way through to obviously the final couple of seconds of the fourth quarter. Still W for the Lake Show, a game out of fourth place in the Western Conference. Another game coming up tomorrow against Philadelphia. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Please do me a quick favor, if you guys don't mind. I'm trying to get to 30,000 subscribers. I'm over 28,000 now. Making great progress, too. I'm really, really committed to the channel. I believe in the channel. And a lot of that just comes because I feel like you guys like the content that's coming out, which fuels me a little bit. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. If you could just subscribe to the channel, would appreciate it. Back on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I mentioned I am going to have a guest tomorrow. Keith Pompey covers the Sixers. We'll talk a little bit about that game coming up tomorrow. And then we got some NBA topics that we'll get into as well. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Go enjoy the rest of your day. I don't know if people were saying, Slee, what are you drinking there? It was just tea, guys. It was just tea. It's Monday. What the hell do you guys want me to drink? It's Monday. Okay? All right, time to go have some dinner. All right, my people. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you, everybody.